Here with Javi Maldonado, who is the assistant coach at Arkansas Little Rock. Love the hat. Looks great. Yeah, very nice. You guys just finished your first year?
Yep.
Yeah. And tell me first, before we get to kind of the wrestling and that sort of thing, in terms of your background, talk a little bit about that first year for a brand new program. You've now done it twice.
Yeah, this is my second time doing it.
So you were at Southeastern and started the
Yep.
program there, and now you're at Arkansas Little Rock and helped Irishman start the program there. Was it different or very similar in time to starting a new program?
It was a little bit of both. It was the same in regards that we had a lot of young guys, and they were all just trying to get to know each other and build a culture.
Mm-hmm.
But it was different just because right off the bat, the competition was a little bit different. We wrestled a pretty tough schedule. And it just ended up that way. We knew UNC was going to be good. We knew, we had to wrestle Stanford and Arizona State, but App State had a great year. They're tough. Northern Illinois was a lot better, than what people thought they were going to be in the beginning of the year. So it was just a tough schedule, and with a lot of young guys, it was just tough. But the guys kept fighting, man. That was the best part of it. They kept fighting, and they kept trying to get better. They got beat up. Some of the guys got beat up a lot, and had to wrestle some really good guys. And they came back and just the next day came to practice and worked hard, and looked at us and were coachable, and so that was good. But it's hard. Both times the depth is not there. You get a couple of injuries, and you can't train as like what you want. You can't train as hard as because you kind of got to be all right. Well, we got two guys out. We don't have a lot of guys that can wrestle with a lot of different people. You know what I mean? So it was just one of those things, just growing pains, just But the guys did so good with setting the foundation and just keep grinding. They really did. It impressed us, and me and coach were fired up. We get in, we get on them, and then, they responded. They responded really well.
How was the Little Rock community in terms of like supportive of that first
year? It is awesome, man. Hey, listen, it was so cool. We got mat side seating, so I don't know if you bought one. You bought season tickets.
I did, yeah.
Those mat side seatings. I don't know if you got the mat side seatings one. We had, I think, 60 chairs. I think it started with like 50,
right?
Somewhere from 45 to 50, and they bumped it up to like 70. So every match we had people around the mat side seating, and there was people that came over from basketball that big basketball. Little Rock and Arkansas, the state of Arkansas, love sport.
Right.
They love sports, and wrestling's new here, but they came out and they supported us, and they were excited. We had a set of fans that sat right behind us that were just as loud as anywhere I've ever been, and they didn't know what was going on, but they heard someone say Stalin, they'll say Stalin, and after the match, like, hey, so what was I screaming Stalin for? And stuff like that. Like, so why did we pick bottom? They were just asking questions. We met with them, and they wanted to know everything. Like, how does weigh-ins work? We went from the beginning of the dual meet, from weigh-ins, from even the pre-match, the warm-up, and all that stuff to them, and they loved it. So the support's here. It's awesome. The fans came out this year. Our gym, where we compete at, is set up beautifully for wrestling. We had that octagon mat. We had the mat side seating, but we have both sides of the gym, the stadium, the Jack Stevens Center. We got fans on both sides, but it's steep, so it doesn't feel empty. It doesn't feel cold. It's a warm place. You can hear them. They know. For the Arizona State match, we won 33, 41, and 49. And we had at halftime. We won 3-2 matches at halftime, and they were pumped. That place went berserk. It was awesome. Our first match versus The Ozarks was awesome. So we did
Right.
every match. Every match was awesome. I think, our attendance was great. They were fired up. The matches we didn't, if it was a tough match, they still cheered for our guys.
Very
South Dakota
cool.
State was a tough match at home, but they still Super Bowl Sunday, they still came out, they still cheered us on, they still stayed afterwards and encouraged our guys. So it was pretty neat to see.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So let's go back in time. And I think for everyone, a lot of people, I guess, who might watch this don't know that you and I know each other from way back
Way back. I was thinking
when
about that the other day when I saw your interview with Tony. I was like, man, we got to talk. Like
so I think you were in middle school, right, when you walked into our room. Were you
freshman
not?
year, I was a freshman. So when
You
I
were a
walked in the
freshman.
room,
Okay.
it was probably the end of my freshman year.
Okay.
Because I don't think I did anything with you guys before.
Okay. All right. So end of your
I think right
freshman
at the end.
year, came in and wrestled with Jose a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I wrestled with all you guys. Yeah, it was
yeah.
awesome. You guys were really good. Do a lot of people know you coached?
I don't know if anybody knows I coached or not.
Do
I
they know
mean,
how much? Do they know how much you used to bench press? That's
no.
what That's what I wanted
No, no, no. I'm old now.
to. You're old now.
That's
Yeah,
so you won two titles in
yeah.
Florida. And I remember taking you and Hayeswinkle and Nick Davis out to Oklahoma to wrestle junior
Yep.
duels. I think there was a conversation, which it was it you or Hayeswinkle that were the Backstreet Boys fan, and the other one was the
We
NSYNC
probably
fan.
both were. We were. Me and Hayeswick on those trips were inseparable. We would hang out. I was, my dad, Coach Bird always told me find the best
Yeah,
guy and stay with him. And
yeah,
and Sam was the best guy on those trips, and not only just wrestling, like he was the
yeah,
best human being on those trips. And he
yeah.
loved it. And he loved hanging out, and he was awesome. He coached me up. I helped him out with his gut wrench and his gut defense. You know what I mean? Like, because,
Yeah.
he didn't have a lot of practice partners up in the panhandle. He'd come down and we'd be gut wrenching each other. And it was awesome. So, yeah, those trips were fun.
So you were after him, right? Didn't he graduate a
Yeah,
little
so
bit
he was
before you?
older. He was too. So the reason I know about Sam is because, you guys came back from, I think it was Capital City
Hmm.
Classic, and you guys talked about the guy that whooped Jose Vasquez, right?
Yeah,
And around our town, like no one whoops Jose Vasquez,
right,
like so it was, he's coaching, Jose's coaching now. He was, his senior year, he was state champ with, he was
right,
one of my role models. I tell him that all the time, every time I see him, like, I'm a big believer in like, you got to see it to believe it kind of thing. Like where like, and I was
right,
able to see like a kid like me, a Spanish guy, that, small kid, like from my
right,
town, that went out and won a state title. So if he could do it, I could do it, and wrestled at college and stuff like that. So
right. Well, and you did. You won two.
so I started wrestling my freshman year in high school. I mean, my brother wrestled. I got. I don't remember Anthony Jones.
Yeah.
Bad. He got us. He got my brother started. So he got my brother started. That's how it all started with him. That's how the whole
Okay.
connection.
Right.
With it's crazy how it all worked out. But we end up. My mom ended up marrying Coach Bird, and it just worked out. I wrestled. I went to one practice when my brother was practicing, and I wanted to play basketball, just like every other kid in the vicinity, right? We all want to play
Right.
basketball, and we were playing basketball. I was playing basketball, and I went to one middle school practice. Then at the end of basketball season, it was like on a Thursday maybe. I didn't play the last game, and I don't blame him, man. Now that I look back, like why would I play? Like, but I used to play like I was decent. I made the middle school basketball team. We were competitive. And Miss Glover comes up to me after the match. You remember Miss Glover? Miss Glover. Coach
Yep.
Glover was our coach, our wrestling coach. He's like, hey, listen, man, just come wrestle tomorrow. Come to school tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. We have the middle school tournament. You'll get out of school and, you'll get to wrestle. I was like, well, I only been to one practice. Like, yeah, you'll be okay. So I knew one move, double leg. You lift them up, double leg. You throw a half in as you come down.
There you go.
That's it. That's all I learned that first practice. That only practice I went to. And I did it. And I won the county middle school tournament. And next thing I know, freshman year comes around. That summer of my going into my freshman year, Coach Bird and my mom started dating, and I started liking wrestling, and then he's like, all right, we're going over to Gateway to practice with them, and I'm like, all right, let's go, and
That was
yeah, we had
awesome.
some battles over there, man.
So
That was fun.
yeah, that was fun. That was fun. So you started wrestling, eighth, ninth grade, pretty much, and ended up going to UTC,
Yeah,
and was a three-time NCAA
qualifier.
qualifier,
Yeah,
right?
so yeah, 3-time
And
conference champ.
so we're talking a steep trajectory,
Yeah,
between
it went fast. I
yeah,
mean, I won my first state title my second year of wrestling.
right.
I
At
placed at
at
Fargo
six, at 106,
at 103,
103. Okay.
beat Hernandez, who was a senior. I think I want to say I'm pretty sure I could be. I think Obi was in that bracket, and he just started wrestling.
Hmm.
So I think he just started wrestling. I think
Down
there
down
was
in
one,
Naples, yeah.
yeah, I think there was one more other guy that was pretty good in that bracket. But yeah, I won my sophomore year, and then I went out to Fargo and placed at Fargo. So my second year wrestling, I was Fargo All American, and I didn't know no difference.
Were
Like
you placed in both freestyle and Greco?
I placed in freestyle the first year.
Okay, but you didn't
I
place
went
them. Did you place them both of them?
Yeah, and then my
Eventually.
senior year I placed both. I double All American in Fargo my senior year.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So
then I
how?
went.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, and then after that, I wrestled and went to UTC for wrestled for Coach Brands, Terry Brands, when he was there.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you? You're down in Florida, and there was no college wrestling down there at that time. In fact, UTC was eight hours away. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a long distance. I don't know if Georgia State had a program. I think they had already dropped their program
No,
by
they
that
didn't have
point
a
in time.
program.
And so if you're a sophomore or a junior in high school, how are you getting on somebody's radar from a perspective of you as an athlete, and then as a coach now? How is somebody going to do it? Obviously, the kid who goes out to Fargo and is a national champion or something like that is going to be on the radar. But how does another kid?
Yeah, I mean that just comes like I didn't know there was college wrestling. I didn't start wrestling to wrestle in college. And a lot of kids in Florida now it's getting better because the college wrestling. So with Flow and they can find that there's college wrestling. They can see it at SCU. They can see it at Kaiser. They can see it at the local area, and their friends are going off to wrestling in college. I didn't know there was college wrestling probably until my end of my freshman year, sophomore year. I take that back. I watched eighth grade year. I think maybe KO wrestled, and it was on ESPN delayed. So, right around then is when I started watching. But I didn't start wrestling thinking I was going to wrestle in college.
Right.
Um, so I guess how do I get on the radar? Back then, recruiting was different. Placing at Fargo as a sophomore, now you do that. You're in a couple months. If you're a sophomore, I guess you're going into your junior the next year. You're going to get recruited pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like, because just the way the rules are now. Back then it was you didn't get recruited. I mean, guys like me weren't getting recruited until after your senior season. Like, I didn't go on any recruiting trips until after my senior season.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I didn't go on any. Yeah, I didn't go on any recruiting trips until after my senior season, and I placed at senior nationals.
Okay.
So how do we get on that radar? I'm guessing we just wrestled a lot, and we went to the national tournament with Brands. He came down and did a camp when he first took that UTC job. It was probably
Right.
my junior or beginning of my senior year or the end of my junior. I can't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure it was the beginning of my senior year. He came down with Mike Hatchard, who was one of his best buds, and he was coach at Martin County. He went down there, and I went there, and I did the camp, and I said, I want to wrestle for you. Would you recruit me? And he's like, yeah. And he did. He recruited me, and, them. And then after senior nationals, I got a couple more looks. I did the West Point thing, the nomination and all that stuff. I got the congressman. I met with the congressman. I interviewed. I got all that stuff done. But they weren't really recruiting me to wrestle. Like, it wasn't really.
Got it.
Like, they wanted me to wrestle, but it wasn't like a real recruitment thing. Like, he
Right.
wasn't calling me and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" But Coach Brands was, and I fell in love with the UTC, and so I guess wrestling a lot, but I also had really good grades.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and I
that
think
helped.
that
Now,
that's yeah.
as a coach, you of course there's a difference between the ranked guys and the guys that are winning these tournaments and placing in these tournaments consistently. That's a different set of rules for them than the guys that's maybe they're beating some of those guys once or twice. They're right on the edge. They are Division I wrestlers. Those guys just got to work a little bit harder. They got to go to more tournaments, or not to go to more tournaments. They just got to win a couple matches. But you also have to have good grades,
Yeah.
and you got to be exposed to, doing camps. If there's a college coach in your area coming in, go do the camp. When I do camps now, I use that as a recruiting tool where I see, like, is this kid going to work hard during the camp, or is he
Hmm.
the one that's going to go,
Right.
I show a move or someone shows a move and then he's goofing around for 5 minutes. It's 2 or 3. His kid is getting mad because the kid he's with, his drill partner's not doing anything. He's like, he's
Hmm.
mad because I want to get better and he's not doing anything really because he's already good. He doesn't, so camps and then good grades. Like, I get emails all the time, and if you ain't got good grades, like, I just like if you're, I mean, like I said, there's a set of different rules for really good wrestlers. Even then, like, grades say a lot.
Right.
Like, grades are just, if you work hard in high school, you're gonna be all right. Now there's obviously there's different disadvantages or learning disability that affect that. But from my recruiting, guys with learning disabilities, you know, they don't use it as a crutch. The guys that are going to succeed in college and wrestle at a high level, they don't use it as a crutch. They don't say,
Right.
well, I have this, that's why I have a 2.0. Nah, like, there's the guys that I've seen that has a learning disability that work through it are, work twice as hard to get a 2.5. You can trust them to do a lot of stuff. You can trust them to show up to practice. So I think grades are important, especially to set yourself apart. If you're just as good, if I'm looking at two different state champs and you have the same quality wins, the same quality losses, like, and someone has a 3.6 and the other one has like 2.8, I'm like, if one, especially at our university, a 3.6 is going to get you wrestling academic money.
Right. And that
So
helps you as a coach.
yeah, it helps us a lot, and because we're making business decisions as well, like, what's the best bang for the buck sometimes, so, I think your academics can set you apart. I think academics set you apart. Your wrestling. Um, I for me, I've talked to a lot of different people. A lot of different people have different point of views about different sports. If a guy is winning matches while he's doing 2 or 3 sports, like if he's going out and getting some good quality wins as he's doing 2 or 3 different sports, I love it. That means
Right.
this dude is kind of fresh. He's coachable because he's got 3 or 4 coaches already coaching him. If it's football, if it's wrestling, and then a baseball or something in the spring, that track or whatever he's doing, he's got 2 or 3 different coaches coaching him, and he's obviously pretty good on all 3. Or he likes to compete. So I know some guys can't go to some national tournaments because they play football.
Right.
As long as you're getting those quality wins somewhere, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
As long as you're getting some quality wins.
But you can't miss Super 32 and Fargo and
You can't miss them
NHSC.
all. No,
You
you
can't miss
can't
them
miss them
all.
all. Like, you can't, like, it's hard, like, because I mean, from our point of view, and if you guys are both equal, and this guy's wrestling at Super 32, and he's winning matches, he's placing, and maybe he's just one-time state champ, and you're a one-time state champ, like, those tournaments are
Make a
what
difference.
set people apart. That's why we
Right.
recruit them.
So you
And
you actually just said a few minutes ago about quality losses, which I think is really important because I think I want you to tell me what you mean by quality loss and the way I think about it.
well, I mean, if you're going to, let's say the kid's going to Super 32 and he's wrestling, he didn't place. Say a kid didn't place, but his 2 losses were to guys that are pretty
hammers.
dang good, and he competed in those matches. He competed in those matches. He didn't hump up like Coach Bird says, hump up like a wet boot. But he competed in those matches. He's competing against those guys, and maybe he steals a couple wins here and there. And now remember, the rules are different for the guys that are winning those matches,
Right.
and the guys are a little bit more on the above average on the scale, like I was, going into college. So
So so you wrestled, or you wrestled at UTC, but one of the things is you coached at Southeastern, and
yeah,
now you're and so we got an NAIA program and a D1 program. Um, is it different if you're trying to wrestle at an NAIA or a Division two program, Division three program?
I don't know it.
No.
No, because listen,
Hmm.
I ran my program like I would run a Division One program. You know what I mean? Like all
Right.
these coaches, the coaches at the NAI level, they're not. It's not like they're saying, well, oh, we're going to run it different. No, the good coaches are good coaches no matter what division you're in.
The expectations are
So
just as high.
yeah, the expectations are just as high. And no, it really has to do with what kind of, like, we had guys that were getting recruited by Division One schools, and we got them because they felt like that's the division that fit them right, or
Hmm.
maybe they did try the Division One level, and they were like, you know what, it's just not for me. Like, this is not
Hmm.
what I want out of my wrestling. And now competition wise, yeah, I mean, you're wrestling.
Right. But if you're a high school prospect, you need to be working your ass off however hard, as hard as you can, regardless of what level you're going to go for.
Yeah, because I mean, yes, heck yeah, no matter where
Right.
you're going, like where.
I mean, that's a no dub, but yes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, it makes sense. Like, I get it all the time. Well, it's just, it was just NAI, or, well, especially on the Florida wrestling, like, they're like,
Right.
well, when are we going to start a Division One program? Like, well, you can come over here to this program right now where we're at, and I'll send 7 guys your way that you won't get a takedown on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Right.
it's frustrating on that part, but no, if you want to wrestle in college, wrestling, there's a lot of opportunities. You had to find the right one for you. And if you are the best of the best, and uh, you got to find the right fit no matter what. If it's between Division One schools, if it's between Division One, Division Two, Division Three, and NAIA. Now, what I liked about NAIA more than I liked about the NCAAs
Hmm.
was that we got to wrestle 12 guys. And
Oh, okay.
we recruited a lot on that. I recruited a lot on that, and I know they do now. It's like, listen, you can go Division Two, you can go Division Three, you can go Division One. The guys that are on the fringe,
Hmm.
but the good thing about the NAI is, like, listen, you can still compete for a national title, even if you're not the best guy on your team. You don't
Right.
waste a year. So we're able to take our best 12 guys. It could be 2 at each weight, no more than 2 at weight, but you can take them from 125 to 165
Right.
and
So
leave the rest.
I was going to bring that up because just this past year, I think Southeastern had two 125s that were in the tournament,
Yeah,
and Crowell was probably the number two, but
yeah.
got further in the tournament than Santana did. Right.
It's just matchups. It's
Right.
matchups. They both end up losing to the same guy. If Santana would have won his wrestle back, they would have wrestled to be an All-American. One of those guys.
Oh, they would have wrestled
So
to be an All American.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they
Okay.
both lost to Milner in the backside, which Milner's a really good wrestler. There's
Yes.
you look at those brackets. There's some guys that wrestled at Division One level. There's guys that beat Division
Right.
One guys. And stuff like that. But I think they do a great job of being pro wrestler in the sense of, like, yeah, you're not going to lose a year. Just if you can prove yourself to compete at a national level, even if you're not the best guy in your weight, you don't have to bump up a weight. You can stay at your natural weight.
Right.
You can wrestle that weight and then and have a chance to be a national champion All-American. And I know Grandview's had it a
Yeah.
multiple times
Yeah.
where they're wrestling each other in the finals.
Right.
And it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. It just gives guys more opportunity. So going back to a young, a junior in high school, a senior in high school, you got to find the right fit for you.
Hmm.
You got to find the school that's going to fit you right. You got to find the division that's going to fit you right. And then that's when you're going to give yourself the best chance to make it.
Hmm. That's a great way to put it. And I think you actually already covered the importance of the grades and the opportunities, good
There's a lot of
losses,
academic money out there.
right.
There's ton more and you know this. There's way more academic money. I tell this to everybody. There's way more academic money in um, anywhere at any university. There is athletic money.
Right.
And I think people got to understand the way scholarships work. Just because your friend goes to a school and he's a football player, and he's got a full ride because everyone's on there. Unless you walk on, you have a full ride. Or basketball's like that, and that's not how wrestling works. That's
Right.
not how wrestling works. The best coaches find ways to get the best. Go further with the least amount of money, or whatever it is. You go as
Yeah.
far
Yeah.
as you
Yeah.
can with the money you have, and academics plays a big role. And it's going to help you later on. Because let's say a school like Little Rock, and you have an opportunity to get in-state tuition because of your grades. That's half the cost right there.
Right.
You're talking from 30,000 to somewhere around 16,000. Like,
Huge difference.
that's doable. That's
Right.
doable. You throw in some other stuff, and or a Pell Grant or something like that. Now you're paying. That's pretty doable. Especially how some schools are expensive. Some schools are. So,
So I'm glad you brought back up Little Rock because we'll come full circle back to that to kind of wrap things up. So where do you're going into your second year,
yeah.
and now you've got a group that have kind of gelled and been there together for a period of time, and then you're gonna bring some new kids on campus. So have you guys released the schedule for next year?
No, we're working on it now.
Okay.
We're working on it now.
So I, I don't want to say what are the expectations, but what do you expect going into year two? What's Coach Iverson expect?
I expect. I'm more thinking about the practice room, where we're going to get more depth with the incoming freshmen. The recruiting class that we got is pretty deep. We got a good amount of kids coming in. Above 12 to some, anywhere from 12 to 15. But it's it's exciting to get that group in with the guys we have right now. The guys that right now already have a pretty good. They did a great job building a good culture. And I think what they did this year and how they went out and fought in matches is puts us ahead, light years ahead than if we didn't fight during those matches. Now when you come in, there's an expectation of you fighting for everything you get here.
Right.
You're going to fight. You want to be the starter, and you can start. You have a chance to start. We're still young at a lot of weights, but guys, you can compete. I'm more excited about that and how it's going to. I think we lost a couple matches where we just didn't have enough depth in the room. Sometimes, like we just didn't have the guy to push this guy one more, another minute in practice. But now we will. Now we do. So I'm excited how that's going to, show on the match, and matches and stuff like that. We're excited about our schedule. We have a lot of good things going here, and we're excited about it. And the guys, but I am excited about the new guys coming in with the guys that we had and the culture they helped build and how they're going to protect it this year. And these guys are going to come in and have a chance to pave the way, and keep making us better and keep, improving our culture.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to chat. We haven't seen each other since Super 32.
Yeah, and it was short. You're running around most of the time. And I'm running around most of the time. So,
but we'll have to catch up a little bit. I wish that college season was a little bit shifted. I know it is a little bit later, but trying to cover high school and come over.
It is. I agree. I think basketball does it right. I think they're in the same season, but their games are different. Same thing with football. Your Friday games are. Your high school games are Thursday, Friday. They can still go to matches. Here, you rest on a Saturday.
It's
You
hard to get
know,
over on a Sunday or something. Yeah.
yeah, half your fans are wrestling somewhere, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
themselves. So they were the kids. So
thank you for taking the time, Javi. It's great to see you. Hopefully we'll see you next year.
yeah,
Next
sounds
season.
good.
See ya.
Thanks.